All right, video time. Just adjusting the camera, so sorry about that. All right, so let's talk about using the SP. Today is more focused on the SP. I'm using this for instrument purposes, but the SP is the star of this one. Okay, so put together some drums. And on my master chain, I'm trying this out. I think I saw this from SP Vids, where he was talking about using the 303 on the 3 and then bus 4 with the 404, but just using the compression on that one. And then on 404, then on bus 4, just using the 404 with a little bit of hint of noise and flutter. I'm not sure what he uses exactly, but I did it to my taste. I like 727, 7 on the frequency, 2 on the noise, and 7 on the flutter. Keeping it really simple. All right, so then I have a lo-fi effect, which I like. And I think, if I remember right, let me go to my input settings. No, I bypassed it. Okay. Sometimes I'll run the input setting. I'll run a lo-fi effect on that too, just to bring in the sound, so I don't have to deal with trying to figure out how to make it sound lo-fi. I mean, you're just sampling it in using that effect. But anyway, so what I did was I recorded some drums. Simple little pattern. Okay, so let's talk about getting people that get this SP404 struggle with getting things on time, and I totally understand it, because if you're just playing with zero quantization, I mean like zero, it is challenging unless you got really good timing, like really good timing. So what I do is I record my stuff separate. I'm not a drummer. I do not have perfect timing by any means. And I'm not really interested in going and doing the step sequencing thing. I'll use it to my benefit to help me on adjust stuff or sometimes, but I'm not really, that's just not me. I get bored really easy with step sequencing. I don't know why, but I just never got into it. Let's see. So going back to what I was saying. So I got my drums. Then I always go in, the first thing I typically would do is go in and adjust the volume. So you see the volume, because they can get, like if this was all the way up, it's really loud. So it's like, so get that mix of those sounds together the way you want them. Make sure you take the gate off and keep them at a 1 shot for the drums for sure. So this was a simple pad. All I did was take and record the pad. I left the gate on that one. Then I went into shift chromatic and played it out the way I wanted it to be played, which in this case was something like that. Something like that. I just used the pad on simple to make the, instead of playing chords this time. And because that had a nice little sound like that, I felt like it had enough bass in the sound. I haven't put a bass to it. I guess I could add some type of simple bass into it maybe. So that was the start. And then I was messing around and found, I have some Refacer make some cool sounds for the OP-1. You could probably use these. Maybe you could use them in just a regular DAW or something to that nature, because I think they're just AIF files. So in the OP-1, so you could pretty much use them wherever, I guess. So I went in and found a sound in his latest kit with the cassette. And I think I used, was that the pad sound? That was the pad sound. Oh, there it is. It's called Dicta Lead. So I don't know if I used the high or the low one. I can't remember now. That sounds weird, but I love it. Let me see. Maybe I didn't use that sound. No, that was the one. Oh, you know why? Because I ran it really low. I did use the low one. But what I did was I turned the volume down. Usually I'm cranking the volume. And it sounds okay. But this time around I said, I'm going to run this. That's what I did. Pretty much just use it really low volume. It's a lead, but I just wanted it to kind of fit and rhythmically play across the track too. So I made a good loop out of that. Then I went in and recorded some string saw, I think is what it's called. Oops. Which is actually a stock sound. Where is it? String saw. Just to throw like another little lead over it. So it's 2 leads and then a pad, basically is what it is, with some drums. And then put it all together. Drop. Now I'm about to show you what I did here to get this where I didn't have to record it twice. So I'll show you. So once you record everything together, you actually have access to make a bunch of copies of that and then delete out parts without having to be stressed out about holding down delete. There's a trick that I think Lord Lifted Noise, Raul, put on his website that I learned from him. And so basically, let's say I want to copy this pad to here. I'm just going to put it there for right now, right? But I just want to pull the drums out of this. I don't want to have all the parts going on at once. So basically, you hit pattern edit, and then it will ask you to select the pattern. You select the pattern. It's a 4-bar pattern. Here, at this point, you could either duplicate, crop, whatever you want to do. I'm going to cancel that. I'm just showing you can do that, but you can delete. So if you hit delete and hold it down, it'll say delete from pad. So then you just pick out the parts you just want to delete. See, they're a little bit darker blue than these. So if you want to delete that, then hit that and then press enter and it's gone. That is crazy cool. And I'll tell you why. Because that means that you could just do all your parts on one pad. And then when you want to part out just little parts here or there or to make different parts, let's say you want your chorus has everything on it, but your verse will drop down to just 2 parts, the drums and the pads. Then you could easily make a part like that by just doing it all, by just deleting the parts you don't want. I'm gonna get rid of that because I don't need it. So that's what I did. Right? Now this part doesn't have the final lead and it just got, but see how I'm triggering it to the next one. So then, so that's cool. So now making a song in here is a little bit easier than maybe a person might have thought. But let's say you don't want to sit here and keep having to trigger them live like that because you just want to make a pattern. How do you do it? Well, pretty much you just press hold while you're in there, hold it down, and then select one chain. So you have 16 options to chain them together, right? I'm just going to pick one, and we're going to create a pattern chain in pattern 1. You can tell it how many times to repeat or just leave repeat off. So I want that to be my intro. Do I have to move it over? I think you just hit it once. Okay, then the next one, I want the verse or the hook to come in. And then I want it to drop down to this one, and then this one, and then back up to this one for the chorus. And we'll play that twice, right? So if you make in your mind, come up with your own little workflow of, hey, number 4 is going to be the chorus. Number 3 is going to be the verse part 1. Number 2 is going to be verse part 2. And number 5 will be the intro or however you want to do it. And number 6 will be the conclusion, conclusion. That sounds like a paper. Number 6 will be the outro. however you want to do it. Or you can just do it as I did it. Now, if you hit, I think it's, mind you, I've not done this. I think it's sub. Yeah, just hit the sub pad and it'll play your patterns for you in that order. I think this is the simplest workflow for putting a pattern together. Now to go to 2. See, it's automatically triggering for me, so this is good. Now it's gonna go back to the chorus, right? See what I'm talking about? Now it's gonna play the chorus again. And I don't have it on repeat, so it's gonna go off after this, which is okay. So the SP's pattern sequencer, or we're gonna call it pattern chain, because they call the sequencer, and this is called pattern chain, is actually pretty decent for a simple chaining stuff together. Now, if you wanted to do this separated, where everything was, you can't play multiple patterns at the same time. That would be something that's kind of cool. But I get, then it would be a little more complex to make it. But it would be cool if they would honestly do that. They'll add where you could pick the drums. You could pick parts of the drums dropping out. And technically you can do that by creating the patterns. So you could create a pattern with and I showed you how you can remove drum parts. So you can go in and remove in the step sequencer like just 1 or 2 parts. But let's say you want to completely remove the kick and snare or something like that. That's easy, right? Because I just showed you can go in and delete a whole part out of a section, out of a song, or out of a pattern rather. So a lot of options. And then there's the mute option too that I've shown before, where you go shift reverse, and then you can press past to mute out stuff. So anyway, you got a lot that you can do. I don't use this as much. This is my first time actually messing with it, but it's super easy to use. And for putting together chains for songs, this is actually not so bad. So I don't know. Let's see. Oh, that wasn't it. I was trying to see how to turn on the repeat. Maybe I'll have to look that up. I don't know that, to be honest with you. It may be something simple. Let's see. Nope, not that. Nope. Shift in this? Nope, that's not it either. I don't know how to turn on the repeat, and I know it's something simple, and I just don't know, but it's okay. But you can make different ones too. Like if you didn't want your chain, like maybe you want two chains. Maybe if you just want 2 different or 3 different chain patterns together, you could do that too. I really don't see the point. I would just use it on here. That's 16 patterns you could have. So you create your pattern parts and then start just piecing them together. I mean, you really don't, I don't think I would ever need a full 16 anyway. After a while, it's going to be the same repetition in most songs unless you got something going on like a lead. But at the point where I'm going to send this out, now this is something I would love to see Roland fix. And that's primarily that we could stem out our parts. There's a way to work around to do it. It's pretty much like I'm showing you now, delete out parts, build the sequence, and then delete out parts. And then you can have them all separated. It's super easy to do. But the thing is that it would be just nice if I could just stem the parts out and plug the USB in, or either that, or even use the SD card and just stem the parts out to a folder, then stick it in my computer and maybe finish the track there if I want to. That would be cool. That would be really cool. So anyway, this is a good workflow in the SP. And what I love about the SP is the sound. I think when I say the sound, I mean, the effects, the I think it's 16-bit, right? So the way it's put together, the output when you send it out, like you're listening to this coming out directly from the output into an audio interface out to speakers. And that's whatever you're hearing is probably not as good as it sounds in person, just because the reality is, I mean, YouTube is going to compress the video and it's not going to sound as good as it would in person. But let me tell you, the SP sounds amazing. And it starts with the samples that you have and, of course, your choice of effects and how much you use them. And also the sounds you bring in, because these are all from the OP-1 except for the drums. These are all from the OP-1. So bringing in sounds, doing that, you know, you can get that kind of effects that you like. So anyway, that's it for this video. Just wanted to mess with the SP a little bit to show you, particularly this pattern chain and putting stuff together in that. Interesting. So that pattern stays there. And I guess let's see how you delete real quick. Well, delete. Oh, you just get on there and press that and then it deletes. Okay. Cool. Well, that's it for this video. Just wanted to show you that. I'm learning stuff too, so hopefully that helps you in your efforts to use the SP or the OP-1, whichever you're using. You can see some stuff that you can do. All right, I'm out.